The city floated calmly once more. The night sky was clear and silent. Stars blinked above, as if watching from far away. The towers of the serai glowed gently in the dark, and the hearthstone at the center pulsed with a soft, steady rhythm. Tom still lay in the healing hall. His body was quiet. He had not opened his eyes since he gave his energy to save the hearthstone. Nyala sat by his side every hour, never leaving for long. Her hand always rested in his. She whispered songs and stories to him, even when he did not answer. The Serai healers tried everything. They used crystal light, dream mist, and even memory water. Nothing woke him. His body was stable, but he would not rise. The people of the Sky Palace began to gather outside the healing hall each day. They brought lights, flowers, and small gifts. Children who had been saved during the attack drew pictures of Tom and placed them near the windows. To the Serai, he was not just a hero now. He was a symbol of hope. Nyala stood before the council again. Her eyes were tired, but strong. "I will do the final bond," she said. "It is the only way." Mira looked at her with concern. "The final bond is ancient. Are you sure he can survive it?" "He is not one of us," Nyala nodded, "but his soul touched the hearthstone. That makes him more than just a visitor. He is a part of this world now." The final bond was an ancient joining of life and spirit. It was rarely used. Only in times when life and death balanced so closely that only love could pull someone back. It had not been done in many years. The bond would link her heart to his. If he accepted it, he would awaken. But if he did not, Nyala would lose part of herself forever. Even knowing the risk, she prepared. On the 7th day, the Sky Palace lit up with golden lights. The trees in the garden began to sing, their soft hums touching every corner of the city. The people watched in silence as Nyala entered the Hearthstone chamber, with Tom's still body carried gently behind her. Tom lay on the crystal platform at the center of the room. His face was peaceful. Nyala stood beside him. She wore a gown made from starlight threads and silver leaves. She placed her hand over his heart. "I speak not as queen," she said aloud, "but as one who has loved. I call to the soul that saved our world. I offer the bond of life. Come back to me if you choose." She closed her eyes and pressed her forehead to his. The hearthstone pulsed. Light poured from it in waves. It wrapped around the two of them like a warm wind. Images flickered in the air above the stone. Tom fighting to save the city. Tom laughing with Serai children. Tom holding Nyala's hand under the moonlight. Inside the light, Tom floated. He was not fully awake, but he was not lost. He saw a path. At the end of it, he saw Nyala reaching for him. Her eyes were full of tears. Her voice echoed around him. "Come home," she whispered. Tom reached forward, slowly, weakly, but surely. His hand touched hers. The light flashed bright, and then faded. Tom opened his eyes. The healers rushed forward. Nyala gasped and fell to her knees, tears running down her face. Tom blinked. His voice was hoarse. "Did I make it back?" Nyala laughed through her tears. "Yes, you did." The city cheered. The lights of the palace danced brighter than ever. Music rose from the gardens, and joy filled the air. The people knew the bond had been accepted. Tom sat up slowly. He looked at Nyala, who sat beside him on the crystal floor. "I saw you," he said softly. "I heard you call." Nyala smiled. "And you answered." They walked out of the Hearthstone chamber together. The crowd outside parted. Children ran forward and hugged Tom's legs. Warriors bowed. Elders whispered prayers of thanks. Mira stepped forward. "The final bond has not been seen in our time. Today, we witnessed something sacred." Tom looked around at the glowing city. "You saved me too," he said. Nayla turned to the people. The bond is complete, but it is more than ceremony. It is a promise. From now on, he stands not just beside me, but with all of us. Mira raised her voice. Then let it be known. Tom of Earth is now part of the Sarai. Not by birth, but by heart. He is a guardian and a prince. The people cheered again. Nayela looked into Tom's eyes. Now there is only one step left. Tom tilted his head. What's that? She smiled. Our wedding. The crowd laughed and clapped. The celebration lasted all night. Light dancers filled the sky. Songs echoed through the air. Tom sat with Nayla under the stars, holding a warm cup of sky fruit tea. You never gave up on me, he said. Nayla leaned against his shoulder. You gave us hope. I just returned it. Tom looked up at the stars. Earth was far away. His old life was a memory now. But in that moment, he felt something stronger than any home he had ever known. He had found a place where he was needed, wanted, loved. The stars above twinkled softly, and somewhere in the dark forest below, Kor the drake watched the glowing sky with anger in his eyes. He had failed once, but the war was not over yet. The sky palace was calm again. The lights glowed softly across the floating towers. The battle with the drake was over. Their forces had been pushed back. Many were captured. Some escaped into the forest below. The Sarai stood strong. Tom rested in the healing hall. His left arm was wrapped with glowing threads that repaired the damage. He sat up slowly and looked around. Nayla stood nearby, speaking with a healer. When she saw Tom awake, she came to his side. You were brave, she said gently. Tom gave a tired smile. So were you. Nayela sat beside him. The people saw your courage. They now see you not as an outsider, but as one of us. Tom looked down. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. I just wanted to protect what matters. Nayela touched his hand. And you did. Outside the healing hall, Sarai leaders gathered. Mira spoke to the people. She explained how Vorak had betrayed them. She told how Tom had warned them and helped stop the attack. The people listened and nodded. Many carried small lights in their hands as a symbol of peace. But even in victory, the danger was not fully gone. Deep in the forest, the Drake leader sat inside a dark cave. His name was Kor. His eyes were sharp. His armor was cracked from the battle. A small group of warriors knelt before him. We failed, one of them said. Kor growled. No, we learned. The Sarai were stronger than expected, but now we know. Their weak points. He placed a small device on the ground. A map of the Sky Palace appeared. Next time, we do not enter through gates. We strike at the roots. Back in the city, Nayla called for a gathering in the garden. All the council members, including Mira, stood in a circle. Tom stood beside Nayla. She held a golden leaf in her hand, a sign of choice. I have made my decision, Nayla said. The Drake came to destroy us. They were guided by fear and lies, but fear did not win. Truth and unity did. She looked at Tom. This man came from the stars. He had nothing, but he gave everything to protect us. He showed me light again. She raised the golden leaf. I choose to bind with him. The council nodded. Mira stepped forward and said, We support your choice. The people of the city cheered. Soft music filled the air. The trees lit up with dancing lights. The light-binding ceremony would begin in 7 days. Tom felt nervous. Are you sure this is right? Nayla looked at him. The stars brought you to me. The rest was our choice, but the peace did not last long. That night, while most of the city slept, the Sky Palace shook. A loud sound rang through the air. Tom jumped up from his bed and looked out the window. One of the floating towers had turned dark. Sparks flew from the side. Energy lines flickered. Nayla rushed in. We are under attack again. But not from outside. The roots have been poisoned. Tom followed her to the control chamber. Mira and the engineers worked fast, trying to stop the damage. One of the large energy roots that supported the city had started to crack. The Drake found a way to strike from below, Mira said. They sent shadow poison into the roots. Nayla gave orders. Evacuate the lower towers. Move the children to the high circles. Prepare the shields. Tom helped guide people to safety. He carried 2 young Sarai girls who had been trapped in a garden room. He moved quickly, ignoring the pain in his arm, but the poison spread faster than expected. One of the towers lost power and started to fall. A group of Sarai warriors flew up using winged suits and pushed it back into place using emergency cables. Still, the damage was growing. Tom ran back to the center of the city where Nayla stood near the Heartstone. The Heartstone was the city's core. It gave life to the floating palace. If it broke, the entire city would fall. Nayla placed her hand on the Heartstone. It glowed, but weakly. We need to strengthen it, she said, but it will take great energy. Tom looked around. What can we do? Nayla turned to him. The Heartstone answers to truth and love. If we open it fully, it will protect the city, but it may drain our life energy. Tom stepped forward. Then let it take mine. Nayela's eyes widened. No, you are not of this world. The stone might harm you. Tom placed his hand beside hers. I would rather give everything than let this city fall. The Heartstone glowed brighter. A warm light spread from the center and flowed into the roots below. The poisoned lines began to heal. The shaking stopped. The towers returned to balance, but Tom fell to his knees. His body felt heavy. His heart beat slowly. He looked at Nayla and whispered, Did it work? Nayela knelt beside him. Yes, you saved us. Tom closed his eyes. Then I'm glad. The healers rushed to him. They carried him to the high hall. Nayela stayed beside him the whole time. She held his hand and whispered songs in her language. Did not wake that night. But the city stood strong. The Sarai lit the skies with light to honor the one who had risked his life to save them again. They called him the Starlight Guardian. Nayla sat alone in the garden, looking up at the twin moons. Her heart was heavy, but also full. He gave us everything, she said softly. Mira came and sat beside her. And we will give everything to... Bring him back! The palace had almost fallen, but the human who came from nowhere had once again lifted it up, not with power, but with heart. The days after the trial felt peaceful. Tom walked freely through the Sarai city. People greeted him with soft nods and kind smiles. Some still watched him with quiet eyes, but most now accepted his presence. Nayla gave him a small home near her tower. It floated above the gardens and had windows that opened to the stars. Tom helped the builders, asked questions, and learned about Sarai ways. He began to speak a few words in their language. The Sarai children laughed when he got it wrong, but they laughed with joy, not mockery. Nayla and Tom spent more time together. They shared meals, listened to music, and explored forgotten paths in the forest below. She told him stories of her childhood. He told her about life on Earth. They grew closer with each passing moment. One evening, Nayla took Tom to a room shaped like a dome. Its walls showed moving images from memory crystals. In the center stood a circle of light. This is the binding hall, Nayla said softly. Here, 2 souls may choose to join as one. Tom looked around in silence. Nayla turned to him. The light binding is not forced. It is a choice of heart and spirit. If you wish, we can begin the first steps. Not today, but soon. Tom felt warmth in his chest. He nodded. I want that. When the time is right. Nayla smiled. But while peace filled the garden, danger crept in the shadows. high in the tallest tower. Vorak met again with the same two council members who doubted the queen's decision. They sat in a dark room far from the eyes of the people. "He has gained their hearts," Vorak said, voice low. "Soon she will bind with him. If that happens, the laws will change forever." One of the others whispered, "But he has done no harm. He has passed the trial." Vorak's eyes narrowed. "He may not harm with weapons, but he is changing her, changing our people. The Sarai do not need human songs or earth games. We need order." The second counselor asked, "What do you plan?" Vorak opened a small device and pressed a crystal. A blue screen floated in the air. It showed a map of Saravia. Symbols marked weak points in the city, hidden tunnels, energy lines. "I have contacted the Drake," Vorak said. "They still want revenge. I told them they could enter the city and remove the human. In return, I will open the way and offer them trade power." The other two looked shocked. "They are enemies," one said. "They were enemies," Vorak replied. "Now, they are useful." Far below, Tom sat in his room, looking at the stars. He felt peace, but also something strange in the air, a kind of silence that felt heavy. The next day, Tom decided to explore the lower parts of the city. He wanted to learn how the Sarai powered their floating homes. Nayela gave him permission, and two young Sarai engineers guided him. They showed him the energy routes that grew from the forest below and reached up to the city. The routes carried light, sound, and memory. The Sarai called it the River of Life. While walking through one of the lower bridges, Tom saw a group of guards moving fast. Their faces were tense. He followed them quietly. They entered a hidden chamber beneath the floor. Tom waited, then slowly crept to the edge. Inside, he heard voices. "The attack will happen during the next lightfall," one said. "Are the gates ready?" another asked. "Yes, Vorak has sent the key." Tom froze. He listened more. The words were clear. The Drake would attack soon. Vorak was helping them. Tom quickly turned and ran back to the upper level. He reached Nayla's chamber and told her everything. Nayla listened with calm focus. Her face showed no fear, only strength. "Are you sure?" she asked. "Yes," Tom said. "I saw them. I heard the names. The plan is real." Nayla called her loyal guards and summoned Mira and two other trusted counselors. She told them what Tom had discovered. Mira's face grew pale. "This is worse than I thought," she said. "If the Drake enter, many will be hurt." Nayla stood tall. "Then we must act before they strike." She ordered quiet lockdowns in parts of the city. Guards were placed near energy routes. Watchers were sent into the forest below. Tom asked, "Can I help?" Nayela nodded. "Help the families reach the safe halls. Show them calm. If you are with them, they will trust." Tom agreed. The next night, the skies turned dark as the twin moons passed behind the clouds. It was lightfall, the moment the Drake had chosen. They came from the forest, riding large beasts and using shadow weapons. But they were not ready for what they saw. The Sarai stood ready. Nayela led her warriors with steady hands. She wore her crown of light and a robe that moved like flame. Tom stood with the families, guiding them to safety. The Drake reached the gates, but they did not open. Vorak had been captured. Mira had found him sending a signal. He was taken to the queen before the battle started. "You betrayed your people," Nayla said to him. Vorak looked at her with anger. "I saved our future." Nayla shook her head. "You let fear guide your steps." Vorak was taken away. Still, the battle was not over. A small group of Drake fighters reached the city wall using climbing beasts. One of them broke through and headed toward the garden. Tom saw them and ran to block the path. He had no weapons, only a long branch shaped like a spear. He stood between the attacker and a group of Sarai children. The Drake fighter charged. Tom swung the branch. It broke. The attacker knocked him down and raised a blade. Suddenly, a beam of light struck the attacker from behind. Nyala had arrived. Her crown blazed with power. She stepped between Tom and the danger. The Drake turned and ran. The rest of the Sarai guards chased them off. The attack had failed. The city was saved. Tom lay on the ground, blood on his arm. Nyala knelt beside him. "You are hurt," she said. Tom smiled weakly. "Not badly." Nyala took his hand. "You stood to protect our children. You are not just a guest anymore." Tom looked into her glowing eyes. "I never wanted to be a hero. I just wanted to help." Nyala leaned closer. "You did more than help." And in that moment, as the city lights returned and the danger passed, Nyala made her choice clear. She would not wait for peace to come from others. She would make it herself, together with the one who had fallen from the stars. Tom stood before the great doors of the trial hall. The building was shaped like a tall shell, glowing softly in the morning light. Sarai people had gathered outside. Some watched with curious eyes. Others looked unsure. A few held small lights, in their hands a symbol of support. Nyala stood beside him, dressed in white robes that shimmered like stars. She placed her hand on his shoulder. "You do not have to do this," she said again. Tom shook his head. "I want to. I must earn their trust." Nyala looked at him with pride. "Then remember, speak only the truth. The chamber listens. It knows what is real." A soft bell rang. The doors opened slowly. Tom took a deep breath and stepped inside. The chamber of silence was wide and round. Its floor was smooth crystal. The walls held no decoration. At the center, a ring of soft white light waited. Floating above it were 5 glowing orbs, each one pulsing gently. They would speak the questions. Tom must answer each one truthfully. If he lied, the orbs would darken. If he stayed silent, the trial would end. Tom walked to the circle and stood tall. The doors closed behind him. Silence filled the space. Then the first orb glowed brighter and spoke. "Who are you?" Tom answered. "I am Tom, a human pilot from Earth. I came here by accident after a wormhole pulled my ship away from home." The orb stayed bright. The second orb began to glow. "Do you seek power among the Sarai?" Tom shook his head. "No, I never asked for power. I only wished to survive. Then I met Nyala. I stayed because I saw beauty, kindness, and something worth protecting." The orb remained lit. The third orb floated closer. "What do you feel for the Queen?" Tom felt his heart beat faster. He closed his eyes for a moment. "I feel respect. I feel peace when she is near. I feel warmth I thought I would never feel again. I do not know if it is love, but it is real." The orb shined brighter than before. The fourth orb circled him slowly. "Would you leave if the Queen asked you to?" Tom thought carefully. "Yes. If she believed it would protect her people, I would leave. Her safety and the peace of her world matter more than my wishes." The orb remained steady. Now came the final orb. It floated higher above him, glowing, in waves. "What do you fear the most?" Tom looked up at it. His voice was calm. "I fear being forgotten. I fear living a life that means nothing. But since I came here, I feel like I've been given a second chance. I don't want to waste it." The chamber stayed silent. All 5 orbs now floated together. Their light changed to soft blue, a sign of acceptance. The trial had ended. Doors opened again. Tom stepped outside. The Sarai people waited. Some looked shocked. Others smiled. Nyala walked up to him. "You passed." Tom gave a small smile. "The orbs believed me." Council members stepped forward. Mira bowed gently. "Few speak with such open heart. You have earned our respect." But not all were pleased. Vorak stood at a distance, his arms crossed. He watched in silence, his face unreadable. Nayla turned to her people. Tom has proven his truth. Let us welcome him not as a stranger, but as one of us. Soft lights were raised into the air. Sarai voices sang a slow, peaceful song. The people accepted him. That night, Nayla and Tom sat in her garden once more. Fireflowers bloomed around them. The pool reflected the stars above. "I never thought I would be accepted," Tom said. Nayla looked at him. "You did not force their trust. You earned it." Tom looked up at the sky. "Back on Earth, things were always fast, always moving. I never stopped to enjoy silence. But here, silence means something. It feels full, not empty." Nayla nodded. "Silence speaks. You listened." They sat together for a long time, saying little. No words were needed, but far above, in the tallest tower, Vorak met with 2 other council members in secret. "He has fooled them," Vorak said in a cold voice, "but not me." One of the others looked unsure. "He passed the trial." Vorak narrowed his eyes. "Or the chamber was fooled. I will not let a human sit beside our queen." The third member asked, "What will you do?" Vorak looked out, the window toward the stars. "We will call upon old allies, ones who share our concerns." The others gasped. "You mean the Drake?" Vorak nodded. "They still wait in the shadows. We offer them a door. They remove the human, and peace is restored." Back in the garden, Tom looked at Nayla. "You gave me hope. For that, I thank you." Nayla reached out and held his hand. "You gave me something more. You gave me a reason to feel again." The flowers around them glowed brighter. But danger was coming. Enemies were moving in silence, and soon the peace they had built would be tested like never before. Tom followed Queen Nayla through the floating city. The air was soft and fresh. No smoke, no machines. The sky above shimmered with tiny lights that moved like fireflies. Bridges of light connected tall towers. There were no guards around them. It felt peaceful. Nayla led Tom into a large open space filled with colors and sounds. This was her private garden. The ground was covered in soft moss that glowed gently under their feet. The trees had crystal-like leaves. Some flowers opened and sang soft notes when touched by wind. Tom stood still, surprised by the beauty. "This place is magic," he whispered. Nayla smiled. "It is not magic. It is life. Everything here is connected. The Sarai grow their homes, shape their bridges, and sing to their food. We live with nature, not above it." Tom sat near a clear pool where glowing fish swam. He looked at Nayla. "I thought I would never see another person again. For years I talked only to myself." Nayla sat beside him. "And I ruled for years without joy. I had people around me, but not a single soul who made me feel alive." Tom chuckled. "Now we are both not alone." Nayla looked at him. "Yes. And I think the stars brought you here for a reason." As the days passed, Nayla invited Tom to explore more parts of her world. She showed him memory halls where glowing lights told stories from the past. She showed him music trees that changed sound based on who touched them. She even gave him clothes made by the weavers of wind, soft and shining like the sky. Tom shared more of Earth with her. He fixed his broken device and played old Earth songs. Nayla listened with wide eyes. Her people gathered quietly outside to hear the strange music. Some wept, others smiled. No one had heard music like that before. Tom told them about games, jokes, and silly dances. The Sarai were curious. Even the quietest among them started to laugh. The floating city, once silent and serious, now echoed with small joys. Nayla and Tom spent more time together. They walked through the forests below. They swam in the lakes. They told each other stories under the stars. Nayla asked questions about humans. Tom asked questions about Sarai customs. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Nayla took Tom back to her garden. "I want to show you something," she said. She touched a flower that glowed red. The garden changed. The plants moved. Aside, revealing a hidden space. In the center stood a tall tree with silver bark. It had no leaves. Only a single glowing fruit at the top. "This is the heart tree," Nayla said. "Only the royal family may see it. It blooms once every few years. The fruit shows a ruler's future." Tom looked at the tree. "Have you seen yours?" Nayla nodded. "Once, when I was younger. It showed me alone, holding the crown with tears on my face. I feared that vision." Tom asked, "Why are you showing it to me now?" Nayla looked at him. "Because since you came, the tree has changed. It now shows two people under its branches. One of them is you." Tom stepped closer, unsure what to say. "Are you sure?" Nayla smiled gently. "Yes. I believe our meeting was not by chance." Suddenly, a soft noise came from the edge of the garden. A Sarai elder named Mira, thin and dressed in long robes, stepped forward. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "Forgive me, my queen," Mira said, "but many in the council worry. They see you growing close to the outsider." Nayla stood tall. "Tom is no outsider. He has shown us joy, laughter, songs. Even the flowers bloom brighter when he walks." Mira bowed her head. "Still, there are laws. A royal cannot bond with someone from another world." Tom stepped back. "I don't want to cause trouble." Nayla turned to him. "You are not causing trouble. You are helping us feel alive again." Mira looked at both of them. "Then you must speak with the council. Let them see what you see." Nayla nodded. "We will." The next morning, Nayla brought Tom to the council hall. The place was large, round, and bright. 7 council members sat in glowing chairs. Each wore symbols of knowledge, wisdom, or strength. At the center stood a circle of light where Nayla and Tom stepped in. Council member Vorak, strong and tall, spoke first. "Queen Nayla, we honor you. But this path is dangerous. The old laws say no outsider may stand beside the throne." Nayla replied, "The old laws were made during times of fear. This is a time of change." Vorak pointed at Tom. "He may be kind, but he is not Sarai. How can he understand us?" Tom looked at him. "You are right. I am not Sarai. I come from a world with war, sadness, and pain, but also from a world with music, kindness, and hope. I came here by accident, but I stayed by choice, not for power, not for pride. But because your queen showed me something I thought I lost, connection." Some council members nodded quietly. Others stayed still. Nayla looked at them all. "We cannot live in silence forever. Let us listen to what the heart says." Vorak stood and raised his hand. "Then let us test him. The trial of silence." The room fell quiet. Mira whispered, "It is an old test. Only truth can pass." Nayla looked at Tom. "You do not have to accept." Tom looked at her. "I will. I have nothing to hide." And so the trial was set. The story of Tom and Nayla had reached a new point, one of truth, one of courage. The next day, Tom would face the ancient trial. If he passed, he would be accepted. If he failed, he would be sent away from the Sarai forever. Tom was a young human pilot. He flew with the United Earth Explorers. 10 years ago, his ship, Hopefire, entered a wormhole during a deep space mission. The ship never returned. Everyone on Earth believed the crew was gone forever. No one knew that Tom had survived. When the wormhole pulled the ship in, Tom rushed to the escape pod. The pod shook and spun as it was thrown into a strange part of the galaxy. Systems failed. Lights went dark. Then, silence. After some time, the pod crashed on a wild green planet filled with strange plants, glowing trees, and soft purple skies. There were no cities, no signs of people, just endless forest and unknown sounds. Tom was alone. At first, he waited for rescue. He sent signals, built fires, and placed signs near open land. But no one came. After weeks turned into months, and months into years, he stopped hoping. He built a small home near a clear lake. He learned to hunt and grow food. The planet had many dangers, flying beasts, moving vines, and storms that came without warning. Still, Tom survived. He made tools, kept notes, and marked the days on stone. But he always felt he was being watched. Sometimes he saw quick flashes in the trees. Sometimes he heard whispers in the wind. He thought it was his mind playing tricks. But one night, everything changed. The sky was quiet. Stars were bright. Tom sat near his fire cooking small fish he had caught. Then he heard a voice behind him, soft, calm, not human. "You are not from here." Tom stood up fast. He looked around, heart racing. From the shadows came a tall figure. She stepped into the light of the fire. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin was smooth and silver like water. Her hair moved like silk in the air, though there was no wind. A crown of light floated above her head. Her eyes were deep blue, glowing gently. She looked at Tom with wonder. "I am Nayla," she said. "Queen of the Serai. I have not seen a human in 10 years. Tom stared at her, unsure what to say. Then he asked, "You know what a human is?" Nayla nodded. "Long ago, one visited our world. He stayed for a short time and left. Since then, we watched your kind from a distance, but none returned. Until now." She stepped closer and looked at his shelter, his tools, his simple fire. "You live here alone?" "Yes," Tom said. "I crashed here 10 years ago. I waited for help, but no one came." Nayla looked into the fire. "You did not give up. That is rare." Tom smiled a little. "I had to survive." Nayla touched a small plant near her feet. It lit up with color. "This world is called Saravia. My people live above the trees. We do not walk the ground often. But we have watched you." Tom felt confused. "Why did you never come before?" Nayla looked at him with sad eyes. "Because we were afraid. Long ago, our kind trusted strangers and lost much. Since then, we kept our distance. But your presence, it felt different. You showed care to the land. You harmed no more than needed. So I came." Tom felt a strange mix of fear and calm. "What do you want from me?" Nayla smiled gently. "Nothing. I only wish to know your story. And perhaps share mine." She lifted her hand and a beam of soft light formed around them. In seconds, they rose into the sky. Tom gasped as he saw the trees from above. They were in a floating platform of light, quiet and smooth. They moved through the air like wind on water. Soon, he saw it, a city above the forest. It was made of glowing towers and bridges that shimmered in the sky. Birds of light flew between the buildings. There were no machines, only energy. The city was alive. Nayla guided him to a quiet place filled with flowers that moved to music. It was her garden. Each flower had its own light and sound. The ground was soft like sand, but it glowed blue. "This is where I come to remember," she said, "to feel peace." Tom looked around, amazed. "Your world is beautiful." Nayla looked at him. "So is yours, I'm sure. Tell me of Earth." So Tom told her stories. Of trees that turned orange in the fall, of snowflakes and warm coffee, of laughter and music, of games and friendship. Nyala listened without speaking, her eyes filled with light. "Your world sounds like a dream," she said softly. Tom looked at her. "What about your world?" Nyala told him about the Sarai, a race that once traveled many stars, but chose to stay hidden after they lost their king in a war. She became queen when she was young. She led with wisdom, but loneliness followed her. Her people respected her, but did not understand her sadness. She looked at Tom. "Until tonight, I thought I would always be alone." Tom said nothing. He just listened. Nyala stood up and offered her hand. "Come, there is more I wish to show you." Tom took her hand, and in that moment, the lost human pilot and the lonely alien queen began a story that would change the stars forever. The city of the Sarai shimmered with light. Floating petals danced in the air. From every garden and tower came music and laughter. It was the day of the royal joining, the day the human who had saved their world would become one with their queen. Tom stood at the edge of a silver lake, looking at his reflection. He wore a robe made from starlight threads, just like the one Nyala had worn the day she brought him back. Around his neck hung a crystal stone shaped like a tear. It was the mark of the Heartstone bond. He breathed deeply. His heart was calm. He was ready. Nyala appeared behind him, her presence soft and warm. She wore a golden crown shaped like wings. Her eyes sparkled with happiness and strength. She placed her hand on his shoulder. "You look nervous," she said gently. Tom smiled. "A little." "I've never married an alien queen before," Nyala laughed. "And I've never married a human. We are both doing something new." They walked together toward the joining circle at the heart of the city. All around, people stood, waiting. The sky was full of light birds, their wings leaving trails of color as they flew. Mira, dressed in ceremonial robes, stood at the center of the circle. She lifted her hands and spoke. "Today, two worlds become one. Today, the bond of life becomes the bond of love." Tom and Nyala stepped into the circle. They held hands. Their fingers fit together perfectly, like two parts of the same star. Mira continued, "Let all who witness remember, this is not only a joining of two souls, but a promise to protect each other and all those who call this place home." Nyala turned to Tom. "You came from far away. You had every reason to walk alone. But you stayed. You fought for us, and you gave me back my heart. I choose you, not as a queen, but as a woman who loves." Tom looked into her eyes. "I never planned this. I just wanted to help. But somewhere along the way, I found something I never had before. You gave me purpose. You gave me a family. I choose you too. Always." Mira raised her hand. "Then let this bond be sealed." She touched both of their foreheads with a glowing leaf from the Heartstone tree. A wave of light surrounded them. The crowd cheered. Nyala leaned forward and kissed Tom gently. It was not a kiss of power or command. It was soft, real, full of peace. The lightbirds flew in great circles above the city. Flowers bloomed instantly across the gardens. Even the Heartstone pulsed in rhythm with their joined spirits. But as joy filled the city, far in the dark mountains, a different light appeared. Kor, the drake who had attacked before, stood before, a black gate carved from bone. His armor was cracked, but his eyes burned brighter than ever. "You failed," said a shadow behind the gate. Kor growled. The human was stronger than expected. "But now I understand his bond. I will not make the same mistake again." The shadow hissed. "Then go! The gate is open! Use what remains of the Void Stone. Bring ruin to the Heart Stone. Kor stepped through the gate and vanished. Back in the Sky City, Tom and Nayla walked hand in hand through the streets. People offered them gifts. Children followed them, laughing. Everything felt perfect, until the ground shook. A deep sound echoed. Through the air like thunder, dark clouds formed above the floating towers. The celebration stopped. Fear filled the air. From the sky, a great black shape fell. Kor landed at the edge of the Heartstone garden, surrounded by smoke. His armor had fused with shadow. His weapon glowed with stolen energy. "I warned you," he shouted. "The Sarai must fall." Nayla stepped forward. "You are not welcome here." Kor pointed his blade at Tom. "This is because of him, the human who stole what was never his." Tom stepped in front of Nayla. "You had your chance. You won't touch her. Not today," Kor charged. Lightning cracked around him. The city guards rushed to defend, but he knocked them aside like leaves. Tom ran toward the Heartstone and placed his hand on it. "I need your help. One last time." The Heartstone glowed brighter. Energy filled Tom's body. His feet lifted from the ground. Light armor formed around him. His eyes shone with golden power. Nayla gasped. The Heartstone chose him again. Tom flew into the air and met Kor head-on. Their weapons clashed with blasts of light and shadow. The city shook with each strike. Towers bent but did not fall. The bond between Tom and the Heartstone held strong. Kor roared, "You are only human! You cannot win." Tom pushed forward. "Maybe, but I'm not alone." Nayla lifted her hands. The wind bent to her will. The people raised their voices. The entire city gave their strength to Tom. With one final strike, Tom drove his blade into the Void Stone inside Kor's armor. A burst of pure light exploded from the center. Kor screamed as the shadow broke apart and vanished. Silence fell. Tom floated back to the ground. His armor faded. Nayla ran to him and held him tightly. "It's over," she whispered. Tom smiled. "This time for real." The people began to cheer. Lights danced again, but this time there was something deeper in the joy. It was not just celebration. It was victory born from unity. Nayla looked at Tom. "You saved us again." Tom shook his head. "We saved each other." The days that followed were filled with peace. The skies cleared. The Heartstone grew brighter. The bond between Tom and Nayla became a story told across the stars. One day, a group of human explorers arrived in orbit. They were shocked to find a human living among an alien people as their prince and guardian. The lead explorer asked, "What happened to you?" Tom smiled. "I found something better than going home. I found where I belong." And far above, the stars continued to shine brighter, now that love had crossed the stars.